Hello everyone, welcome to Cartoon Season. I am Tyler, and this is of course where I talk about some animated stuff, having some fun doing it. Sometimes movies, sometimes shows, cartoons, anime, all that stuff. So today we're doing one of my favorites, at least with a huge block of nostalgia. The first Spongebob Squarepants movie. Fantastic film, something I pretty sure I owned on VHS, watched it a bunch. Incredible, nothing really more can be said. Episode over. But no, yeah, this is very fun movie. Very successful, them being like, okay, SpongeBob is huge, what can we do for a movie? And you know what, they nailed it. Just a couple things I want to touch on today. I want to touch on Plankton actually being evil for pretty much the first time ever. Obviously he steals stuff and whatever, but first time he was really truly evil. And then the second thing I want to touch on is them actually being able to make a grand adventure for the SpongeBob character, because usually it's just some cool slice of life moments, right? Where a time at the restaurant, or them seeing Sandy, or them SpongeBob obsessing over what's in Patrick's box. You know what I mean? It's usually just some small stuff like that. So for them to actually be able to pull off some big grand adventure for a feature-length film, very impressive. But before we get into that, make sure to go to the Tiger T YouTube channel or other podcast services to watch more episodes of this. And yeah, we'll have a good time. So first, like I said, Plankton is actually evil in this movie. And I got a few pieces of evidence, Your Honor. So he hired a guy to kill SpongeBob and Patrick. Really doesn't get more evil than that. I mean, I guess it can, but he literally hired an assassin for SpongeBob and Patrick. That's evil. That's not cool. And he didn't do it because SpongeBob and Patrick did some evil stuff, and he's like, I gotta take him out. No, he did it because he knew SpongeBob and Patrick were the only two people on the planet that were able to stop his evil scheme. So that's what he did. Hired a hitman. Very, very terrible. Very bad. You know what, Plankton? Coal for you this Christmas, He then stole... Well, not then. I don't think this is in order, but he stole King Neptune's crown, framed Mr. Krabs. Not cool. Again, very not cool. That is a crime. You stole. You'll be put in prison for that. So he stole King Neptune's crown. Again, King Neptune was the end-all be-all when it comes to Bikini Bottom. So that's already bad. The crown itself, we know how much King Neptune cherishes the crown. That's probably his most prized possession. And then him also framing Mr. Krabs for it. So that's a double whammy right there. Now you're framing someone else for your crime. And then it gets Mr. Krabs frozen solid, almost killed, but then frozen solid for a few days. And then almost killed again, and then turned into a real boy, which I don't know if that's a punishment or a reward. And then Mr. Krabs lives, but for the most part, stole a crown, framed someone else for it. Not cool. That's some evil stuff. He actually got the formula, so successful in his plot. Never been successful before, in my opinion. For my recollection, I'm trying to think. If he's ever been... I mean, there have been a few moments. I mean, there was a time where he brain-controlled SpongeBob, and he was actually able to get a Krabby Patty into his chum bucket, but he's never actually able to put it into the processor to see what it was how it was made. Was there any more times he was ever successful in stealing one? I mean... There was the one episode where he found the book with the formula in it, but one of the ingredients was plankton. So I'm pretty sure that was a joke. It was a joke formula. Yeah, there's really no other times. I mean, there was a couple times in the show where he went good, and Mr. Krabs basically gave him the formula. Oh, there was the one time, right, where he went good and he opened up an emporium, a gift shop, and it was oh man, no, Plankton's actually good. He really doesn't care about the formula, and Mr. Krabs was going crazy over it. And then it turns out that he actually did, and it was a super long play And then he opened the formula, and it was Mr. Krabs being like, I knew it. I knew you never would go good. So yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent. But I actually got the formula this time. So again, evil, him stealing. I know it's whimsical because it's in the world of SpongeBob, but like he stole a secret from a business to usurp that business. Then he also made bank off of Krabby Patties, again a stolen product, and now he's selling them for his own profit. He got everyone to wear a bucket hat, which is not a crime. Not a crime. You can give out bucket hats, and it's perfectly legal. But they were secretly mind controlling bucket hats, which we get into the next and last and probably the most evil point. He literally had all of Bikini Bottom as a slave army. Not cool. Like literally slaves. Very much depictions of like back in Egypt with like building the pyramids, that sort of thing. Mind control, at that point, no use in even doing the Krabby Patty formula, right? The Krabby Patty at that point wasn't even the end goal. It was the bridge to the end goal of having complete Bikini Bottom domination. Which he succeeded. He did succeed. He was thwarted in the end by SpongeBob, but he won. The most evil scheme he's ever had, Plan Z, an incredible plan. And he won. No one could take that away from him. It tough, But yeah, that's just kind of all the big moments of when Plankton was evil. Because again, he's never really been like that. His thing is always like steal the formula, right? And it's always like, I'm gonna build a robot to impersonate Mr. Krabs, or I'm gonna send Karen to go get fries, not a Krabby Patty. And in the confusion, I'm gonna hide in a fake dollar that they're gonna put in the cash register. And when they leave, I'm gonna go steal the formula. There was the time where he stole Sandy's skin. Very weird episode. There's a time where he won SpongeBob in a game of cards. You know what I mean? So there's some pretty bad stuff, but like this is the first time where like he enslaved all Bikini Bottom like that. He sent an assassin to kill some children. So yeah, props to Plankton for doing all that. But then, like I said, the other thing I wanted to touch on was them actually making a grand adventure for a character like this. A mostly episodic, slice of life, goofy slapstick show, and they made an adventure out of it. Almost like Lord of the Rings. SpongeBob, Lord of the Rings. Very much even when it comes to to stature of filmmaking. But yeah, they made this whole adventure, so some stuff to touch on there. Krusty Krab too. Never who would have guessed that they're gonna make a second Krusty Krab, What do we do to make it bigger? To make another one, the whole new manager thing, right? That was the whole setup for the film where we need a manager for Krusty Krab. We SpongeBob been working there forever. Why not make him the manager? Nope, that's not happening. We have a new addition to the lore where we got Goofy Goober's ice cream parlor, right? That's the whole thing. It's very, very cleverly masked, where like they're like getting drunk off ice cream basically. But again, another piece of world building, something we can always revisit at some point. We got King Neptune, right? Which we've seen before. King Neptune has gone through like a few different like redesigns, and people always notice it. But this King Neptune, pretty cool, probably not as cool as the one we saw beforehand, I don't think, but pretty cool addition to that, Plankton stealing the crown, right? That's a nice setup for the true plot of the film, where they have to actually go, which it kickstarts their motivation to go on this grand adventure to Shell City. Mr. Krabs being frozen, taking out a character completely that wouldn't really be necessary to the story, but also turning that into an opportunity to make it so Plankton can actually steal it. You know what I mean? They have to incapacitate Krabs in order for the Plankton slavery plot to actually happen. Then I already mentioned it, but we got Shell City, which we'll talk about in a second. They're driving a Krabby Patty, so again, we've never really seen SpongeBob drive before because he's never had his license, and now he gets to drive a Krabby Patty, which is really cool, and a nice thing kind of building off of Mr. Krabs's whole deal. Why would he actually have that? Why didn't they use that when they delivered pizza? But again, another fun addition to the movie. We got a tough guy bar, another nice set piece there. For them kind of banking off of the previous scenes of them going to Goofy Goobers, and then also kind of some serious moments. We get into some trouble there for a hot second. Then we have the skeleton graveyard, which is very dark, just bones everywhere. And then the crazy part with like the fake ice cream thing, and it's a monster, and it's very creepy. Didn't like that. But then we have the Now That We're Men, fantastic song, and also nice seeing them going to the cavern. Even before that with I think her name is Trixie. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but her doing the magic. We got the mermaids. We got the salad mustaches, and then seeing all the different creatures and monsters down there in the cavern. Very, very cool. And then they die because we got the real Shell City, which is a gift shop on the human world. And they die. One of the saddest moments in cartoon history, where they get all dried up, and then they each have a tear runs down their arm and forms a heart. Oh man, crazy, wild. And then we got David Hasselhoff coming in. Didn't expect that. The assassin guy, which we've mentioned before, but he has this real climax at the end of the film with David Hasselhoff. Plankton actually almost winning. That's really the scary part, is that he really still almost got away with it. Because we have the double ending, which is time basically running out, and it's like, oh no. And then we have, okay, SpongeBob coming in, saving the day. We got the crown. Everything's good. Everything's great. And then to be the old switcheroo, where Plankton is like, I got a contingency plan, and then drops the bucket on Neptune. Gets everyone else to do the little thump where the helmet drops down. It's like, oh no, he might actually win. But then SpongeBob wins with the power of rock and roll, which is just too great. It's just too great for any one man to handle. And yeah, so again, another fantastic song that they added into this. Very nice moment. So, but yeah, there's just a bunch of the little moments there where all those are additions. All of those things are things that have never existed before, or never existed in that way before in the SpongeBob lore. And just little things, most things we never get back to at any point. We never mention Shell City again. We never mention, I don't ever think Goofy Goober's ever mentioned again. Anything. Krusty Krab 2, all that stuff. I do know that, there was some thing that came out where I think Steven Hillenburg said something about how, everything before the first SpongeBob movie is a prequel, because that's how the story will end, which is weird when you think about it, because then you get a Fast and Furious type continuity where it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th films of Fast and Furious technically time-wise happened before the 3rd movie of Fast and Furious. And it's this is weird. But yeah, again, I think all these are great additions and really flesh it out to make this movie feel like a movie and not just a 90-minute SpongeBob episode. I think that is really the main goal for a project like this. Is we don't want it to just feel like a long episode. We want it to feel like a movie, an adventure, some with some actual weight behind it, and I think they succeeded. But yeah, that is pretty much it. This movie is incredible. I still think it is the best SpongeBob film. Although I think the other two are really good, but I'm sure we'll cover the other two at some point. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of the movie, especially watching it again after all these years, possibly, just like myself. Let me know what your favorite moments were. Let me know. Let me just know everything. Let me know what your favorite song was. It's gotta be the last one, right? It's gotta be the last one, especially with the moment of him, being a magician. But yeah, and that's it. So please go to the Tiger T YouTube channel to watch more episodes, or go to podcast services. Like I said, Twitter is also an option if you want to interact that way. Links for everything will be down below. Yeah, until next time, watch the second SpongeBob film, because I'm sure we'll cover that at some point. Let me know what other cartoons or anime or anything like that you want me to talk about on here.